good, as several people have said before.
Maybe Tampa.
Odd
Maybe they could
thing,
beat Tampa because
I hope
they don't
so.
have running backs like even
Yeah.
like on their roster anymore. They're all hurt. So like yeah, so they can't run the ball. So maybe that's a so 2 wins. I see right now.
Oh man, if that's the case, who do we look at college? Who are we looking at? And this show will definitely turn into College Watch 2014. Or NFL Draft 2015. But yikes, yeah,
What's
yeah,
his name from
you're
Florida State? Uh, the quarterback. I can't think of his name. Uh, Dang it, the Heisman winner.
Oh, okay.
James Winston, right? Is that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's who it is. Maybe the NFC South. I don't think their defense is too particularly good. Maybe Atlanta. Maybe it's the Saints. But
I don't know.
eek, eek, eek.
They both scored like 140 points against each other. So
But wait a minute, they play the Saints in cold weather here at Soldier Field at in mid December.
you
So
said it wrong. It's not cold weather. It's
bear
bear
weather,
weather.
bear weather.
Yeah.
Yes, bear. You may not know what cold weather is these days, but bear weather certainly we all know what that is. Uh,
Today was
it,
bear weather. I think. Jeez.
September bear weather was absolutely. If that's the case, this is going to be a long, long year, and I don't know whose head will be on the block for that, or what the explanation we will get from Hallis Hall. If this is the failings of uh, Phil Emery, if it's the failings of Mark Trestman and his coaching staff, um, it's I just don't know. I certainly believe there will be some players that will pay the price for it. I think this will be the last year for a lot of Bears defensive players in the NFL. I think you can look at that right now, mark that down, and I don't think we will be too far off from that comment. But
I can think of four right off the bat.
let's see if we're thinking of the same. Tillman,
Yeah.
uh, Briggs,
Yeah.
McClellan,
Well, I wasn't even thinking him. That doesn't count.
Paya.
I was thinking Jared Allen, probably close to his
Ooh,
last year, if not, because he was non-existent. And
yeah,
Theo Ralph is long in the tooth.
yeah. Hmm. Good call on that. I didn't even think of him, especially with what he was showing last year. It's funny how we can look at it from one year to the next, and boy, that time has not been good for the Bears. Oh, let's see. Anything else for the Bears that we want to cover aside from just the moon pounding they're going to be getting Sunday evening?
Um, and that's another thing, another night game. So Jay's blood sugar level be low,
Yeah,
and
yeah. He can't see because he's got the sugar.
oh man, bad. That's just bad. Bad news.
Absolutely. And speaking of bad news, something that I really almost thought it would, I didn't think it would be out of the news cycle by the time we recorded, but I certainly expected the fervor, this, and what now we can pretty much call and label the stupidity, and the completely tone deaf discussion fallout from Baltimore, Ray Rice, and his behavior over the summer, his actions, egregious, subhuman, all those sorts of labels that we can apply to it. I thought we would have that behind us. We don't. And what we've seen right now is a classic case of the cover up being worse than the crime, except I almost feel like it's the cover up that exacerbates the crime and magnifies it.
Well, it does. I mean, because it was kind of because it came to light that there was an apparent cover up, even though that Goodell is saying he didn't cover it up. Someone under him knew, had the tape, um, which is what made it back into the storyline. uh, back in the newspapers, back on TV. So you're right. That story is bringing back to light what Ray Rice physically did.
And
It's an ugly scene.
it's
What he did is
yeah,
ugly.
he very well said. I think that's the best we can really say it. If you haven't seen the video, I would probably suggest taking our word for the fact that it's graphic and horrible. Just to put two descriptors on there, I don't particularly suggest going out and watching it. But it's it's a problem, and I I don't want to get up on a soapbox and say that I'm out there for now Janae Rice and her well-being. I think there are some concerns of codependency issues that individuals who have suffered domestic violence or abuse can exhibit. Whether that is the case, I'm not qualified to diagnose that. But considering the situation and considering what we've seen and what people have seen from the video, the behavior of not of and well, I guess the reaction and the the actions leading to and causing Janae Rice to be unconscious, and for Ray Rice to his behavior after the fact of her being unconscious is not something can signaling a single incident, a one-off situation, a momentary lapse in control or temper, and that's what's truly disturbing, I find. And for I guess what we're really seeing is this shift in public relations, I guess, in perception of individuals' behavior being held accountable and being held to a standard greater than that of our current judicial system, previous uh, previous cases, history. Um, I don't know what the case is. I don't. I'm trying to take a step back and look at this and think, well, why are we really? Why is everyone so upset over this? And I understand that, but how many times before have we heard about domestic violence issues? Even a Bears player right now on the staff, one of the best wide receivers in the NFL, and one of the top producers for the Chicago Bears is someone that has a history of domestic violence. And we had our concerns about it, but it's never been an issue in Chicago. Is it a personal conflict? Is it someone that is on medication? Certainly, Brandon Marshall, I believe, is very outspoken in his explanations of bipolar disorder as well as medications and therapy, which, by all means, if it helps him be a better person and be a functioning member of society, we can't we can't really argue or dispute that.
I I think seeing it, I think seeing it is what makes this different. I'm not saying that's right. I, I
Mm-hmm.
just think that's the way it is. If there was video of Marshall um, in his domestic violence, whatever case dispute, uh, we might feel the same way about it. Um, and I'm also hearing more flack towards really, Goodell and the NFL for the cover up rather than Ray Rice. In the last couple of days, I haven't heard much more, damnation of Ray Rice as I have in the past. It's more of, wow, Goodell covered it up. Wow, you know, the Ravens, maybe they covered, maybe they had it too. It's more of pointing the finger now at the NFL itself rather than Ray Rice, where we've kind of already pointed the finger at him. And um, the new video that came out, I think it was like, you know, you didn't just see him dragging a lifeless body, which was disgusting in itself. But you
Hmm.
saw what caused that to begin with, and it's so shocking to see um, that there is again that, oh my God, Ray Rice is a bad guy. But then after that, it's like, and the NFL had this video since April. You know what I mean? So I think the story is shifting. Um, I think maybe there are people receiving the story later than, you know, some others. So they're kind of seeing the video now and going, maybe even today and saying, "Oh my God, Ray Rice is such a bad guy." And then they're gonna be once they find out too that the NFL had this tape since April. Oh my God, the NFL is, and then it goes, then we're pointing the finger back at the NFL.
Yeah. I, I believe that. I think you're right. I think it is the fact that it is video. I think it is something that, in fact, that it was caught on tape and that now is out there for the public ether and the humanity to see. But and I guess it kind of falls under all these sorts of behavior. I want to be very careful in how I say in how I approach it because I don't want to misclassify it, misclassify his actions and equate them to something like alcoholism or drug abuse or even a mental disease. I don't believe that that domestic violence and those sorts of behaviors can be wished away or categorized as the person is troubled or the person is has a disease. I've always find it as a very much a reaction. In the summer, I guess you could call it the summer of elevator videos. On one hand, you have Beyonce's sister wailing on Jay Z and him not doing anything. And on the other hand, you have Ray Rice, who has allegedly, I haven't seen the video, but is allegedly provoked by his then girlfriend, and
It was
then,
it was a yeah. And this is how I'll describe it. Uh, if anything, he was provoked to push her away. She was walking towards him, probably yelling. Obviously, there's no audio; it's a security tape. But her arms weren't raised or anything. Like she wasn't making any sort of physical threatening actions towards him. She was walking towards him. He could have shoved her away. Instead, he threw her a left hook.
and if you describe it like that, you are talking about you're talking about a finely tuned apex
I
athlete.
was oh my gosh, I was thinking that on the way to work yesterday. Like if I threw okay, if my wife Vicky was charging at me and I threw a left hook, she'd laugh and she'd laugh at me and then probably beat the crap out of me. Ray Rice, I mean, his biceps are gigantic. I mean,
Yeah,
that punch, he didn't hold back. I mean, there's a reason why she was knocked unconscious.
and to me, you're talking about somebody that has to take a beating physically for his job. So the physical condition that he's in, like I said, you're not finding many individuals in that are stronger physically than him. And so when I use the term apex, I believe it would be correct. So it's to me, it's preposterous to even try to excuse something like that, saying he's provoked. You have some woman wailing on you with a, I don't recall specifically the Jay Z video, hands, fists, a purse. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a shoe, and takes it, just completely takes it, versus somebody who is, who, like you said, throws a left hook out of, just plainly like a sucker punch. And uh, so I can never, and I would probably never excuse something like that for being for being provoked. You are, it's so off my radar.